Monday, April 19th. So the moon is in Cancer for the majority of the day. It will go void, of course, around 9 p.m. So we do get the majority of the day in this Cancerian energy, still very much focused on what we can do to take care of ourselves, who and what is worth our time, our energy, our attention in our realms, recognizing where maybe, boundaries have been tested by other people, where maybe some boundaries need to be put in place and strongly enforced in order to protect ourselves. And the moon is trining Neptune today and opposing Pluto. So again, this Neptune energy wants us to kind of escape reality, if you will. Neptune is in its place of power in Pisces and has been for quite a long time. Now, the positive of Neptune's energy is that we do get a little bit more strong in our intuition. We can connect to the higher realms and really draw in some new information from source a lot easier. We are kind of dreamy. We are very imaginative, but for the most part, we don't want to deal with reality, especially where, the finer details come into play. This is definitely an escapism type of energy here, and we become very hypersensitive whenever the Neptune and Piscean energy is in play. So we're already kind of set up for a day of sensitivity. Mondays, again, ruled over by the moon. The moon is in her place of power in Cancer, already kind of making us a little bit more hypersensitive than usual. And then again, the moon blends her energy with Neptune in Pisces, and this is going to just make us a little bit hypersensitive, a little bit more likely to react to subtle energies happening within us and, of course, happening in our exterior realities. But the moon is also opposing Pluto. So as we've been speaking about, Pluto brings death and destruction to anything that is no longer supporting who it is that we are and who is that we need to be, and providing us with an opportunity to rebirth ourselves, transform ourselves into a higher version of ourselves than we currently are. And Pluto also brings like some extreme, intense energies here because, the truth of the matter is that nobody would change if we weren't, pushed outside of our comfort zones. Many of us have to learn the hard way in order for any kind of change to take place. And many of us have to be totally put in a position where we cannot stand our circumstances any longer in order for us to realize where we have to muster up the courage and the bravery in order to stand up and make a change and totally dismantle what it is that is no longer serving us and align ourselves with something that feels more natural, more encouraging, more beneficial to what it is that we're trying to bring to life here. So although the moon is making 8 different aspects throughout the day, these are the most important. This is the most potent, and it's going to make for a very interesting, choppy, emotional day. And I choose those words very carefully because we have a lot of other things going on here that is going to contribute to kind of feeling lost, if you will. We have Mercury moving into Taurus. So like I spoke about, Mercury has been in Aries. This has been a pressurized session of information processing throughout the last couple of weeks. Mercury didn't spend very long in Aries, and a lot of us are going to be very grateful for that because it's been very overwhelming to have to sort through information and make quick decisions and come to full understandings and make, choices that are going to better us, in a year from now, opposed to what is bettering us right now. Many of us are making choices that don't feel so good here in the present moment. But when we think about what it is that we actually want for ourselves in the future, the choices that we're making right now are going to benefit our future versions of ourselves. We might just not be feeling the benefits of those decisions here in our present reality. So I'm going to encourage you to listen to April's energy forecast if you haven't already, because I definitely dive way more into what Mercury in Taurus is going to be all about. But just Just for a quick little summary, Mercury rules over the mental plane. He literally rules over the information that we bring in, how we process that, how we actually express ourselves in communicating our new revelations, our new thoughts, our new emotions to other people. And Mercury in Taurus now, we're going to slow down. We want to be a little bit more deliberate with our thinking. We have to be practical. We have to be logical. Mercury in Aries was kind of like throwing caution to the wind, like, screw it. It feels good. It feels exciting. I'm going to do it. I'll worry about the repercussions later. And for some of us not aware of that energy, it got you in a pickle, didn't it? Now, this is about building. This is about creating. This is about strengthening some of the ideas that we've been downloaded with while Mercury was in Aries. And it's really a time to be a little bit more present in the moment, right? It's about really focusing in on the new perspectives that we're having, the new values, the new worth that we're seeing in ourselves and in our realms, and choosing very carefully, very deliberately on what deserves our attention and what it is that we can pour into it, what we can grow upon, what we can build. This is going to be a high time for new creative ideas and new creative projects to be born. This is a time of birthing new energies, birthing new ideas, building the foundation and the cornerstone of some of the ideas that we've been downloaded with in order to bring them to life on a very strong platform in order for us to be able to build upon it. The sun is moving out of Arian energy and moving into Taurus. So happy birthday to all my Tauran friends out there. If you haven't booked your solar return reading for your birthday, I would definitely recommend you go do that. And again, I do recommend that you dive a little bit deeper into what Taurus season is all about, which you can find in April's energy forecast. But this is very much slowing down. We have been on an accelerated timeline, an accelerated storyline for a couple of weeks now, especially since the equinox happened, since the sun moved into Aries. It was, fired up. It was kickstarted. That fire energy brings new life, brings new sparks, new passions, new desires. They have now been acknowledged. Now with the sun in Taurus, we slow things down. The universe pumps the brakes so that we can put our blinders on and figure out what it is we need to do with our energy, with our attention, with our focus. And we're very practical. We're very logical. We're in the present moment. This Tauran energy is very focused on the physical experience of our meat suits here, our avatars, our egos. We're here to see what it is that we have to our advantage, what it is we already have, what it is we already possess. But this is also about recognizing what it is we want to acquire. And sometimes we have to sit down and think very long and hard about our plans on acquiring new things, especially, materialistic things of value and worth that are going to be around for a long, long time. We want to think of relationships. We want to think of money matters, and we want to think about how strong the foundations are in our lives. So this could be a great time to recognize that, hey, maybe you're not in a job that is really allowing you to access all the skills and talents that you've acquired over the years. Maybe you're better aligned to do something else. This would be a great time to take a good look at the foundation of your career, whether or not you're still aligned with it, whether or not you still feel like you are doing something of value, of worth, whether or not you're getting paid what you think you're worth. It's time to tap into your creativity and see whether or not maybe you need to be doing something else that would allow your soul to be expressed in a different way, especially where relationships are concerned. If you've been listening to me for any amount of time, you know that relationships are on focus right now. Why? Because we have attachment issues. We have aligned ourselves with people that mimic the trauma response that we learned when we were children. Many of us think that we are in love when we are actually just attached. Attached is a fear-based energy. It's being afraid of losing something. It's like being in a relationship and saying, oh, well, I don't really feel like we have the same values. I don't feel like we have the same goals. I don't really feel like we have much in common. But you know what? We've been together for so long. We put so much time and energy into this. I can't imagine myself without them. Well, that is an attachment. You have ingrained that person, that relationship into your identity. Attachment will suck the life out of you. Detaching yourself and still wanting to have that relationship, that is a powerful energy. That is a powerful placement. You know that with or without them, you're going to be okay. You're still standing in your power and you're choosing to build a relationship with that person. That is the difference between attachment and detachment. That is the difference between love and attachment. So the relationship sector has been a major focus for many of us for a very long time because, Lord, last year, the universe has tried to show us where it is that we've been pouring into relationships that do not need our attention and energy anymore. And a lot of us are holding on for dear life. Why? Because we don't know who we are or who we would be outside of this label, of this relationship, of this connection. And so the universe is, at first subtly trying to wake us up to the fact that we have to recognize where it is that we've created some of these situations for ourselves. And now the universe is getting a little bit louder for those in the back who just refuse to let go of relationships that are no longer nurturing and supporting who it is that we are and who it is that we need to be. So there is a major shift coming into play here, and we are going to feel the effects from that for quite a few days until we adjust to the energy. But Taurus season is going to be very important because we're upping our self-worth. And when we up our game, when we boss up, when we level up, when we start seeing the worth and value within ourselves, suddenly the perspective changes. There's a shift in how we see the people that we're allowing to take roles up in our lives, and we start reevaluating whether or not they're the right key player to have this important role in the movie, in the story of our lives.